Hero Realty, building a legacy in family-owned business in association with CNBC TV18.
On behalf of Navsari Management Association, I, Vipasha Nayak, welcome you all to the book launch of the Gujarati edition of the national bestseller and award-winning book, The Making of Hero. It is an absolute honor to have the author himself, Mr. Sunil Kant Munjal, with us here today. Welcome, sir. NMA is celebrating the 10th year of its meaningful existence, and it is a matter of great pride for us that Navsari Management Association, which is an affiliate of All India Management Association, has received the Best Local Management Association Award at a national level 4 times. With that, I invite the co-founder and president of Navsari Management Association, Mr. Lalit Pandya, to please give the welcome address.
It's an absolute delight and great pleasure in welcoming you all to this very special evening on behalf of Navsari Management Association. It's a matter of highest privilege that our past president of All India Management Association and CMD of Hero Enterprise, respected Sri Sunil Kant Munjal, is with us. I heartily welcome you, sir, and express my deep gratitude for accepting our invitation to unveil the Gujarati version of your very popular and best-seller book, The Making of Hero in Surat. I wish to thank All India Management Association for their support and guidance in planning this event. The Making of Hero, authored by Sunil Kant Munjal and published by HarperCollins, became the best-selling book within the first few weeks on its launch and stayed in the Nielsen's top book sales ranking for a few months. Next year, the Hindi edition was published by Munjal India and got similar reception. On huge demand, now being translated into various Indian languages, starting with Gujarati and Marathi. I am personally admired by Sri Sunil Kant Munjal sir very much and have been listening to him during National Management Conclave and National Leadership Conclave of IMA since last 10 years. It's a great opportunity to listen to him on family business management. Wish you all the best.
Now it's time to unveil the Gujarati edition of The Making of Hero, and for that, I would like to invite the author of the book, Mr. Sunil Kant Munjal, leading diamond manufacturer, philanthropist, and Padma Shri awardee, Mr. Sauji Bhai Dholakia, Mr. Jignesh Desai, co-founder of India's leading mutual fund distribution platform, NJ India Invest, Mr. Dinesh Joshi, founder of Beacon Diagnostics, which is again India's leading diagnostics manufacturing company, Mr. Hardik Nayak, founder of Hardik Nayak Group, and NMA President Mr. Lalit Pandya to please come on the dais. I invite Mr. Sunil Kant Munjal and Ms. Mridu Bhandari on the dais for the discussion.
The conversation today here is about building a family business. How do you build a legacy and what does it really take? So since we are in the centenary year of late Dr. BML Munjal's birth centenary year, I'm going to start by asking you, what is it that you miss the most about your father and remember the most from this incredible legacy that he has created for India, which has actually put India on the world map?
I was quite fortunate to have the opportunity to spend more time with my father than almost anyone else in the entire family, other than my mother, I suppose. Both to do with issues with the family and with the business, I had a lot of interaction with him. And he would both share and consult me on things which he sometimes said he does not want to discuss with the whole lot of people. So I became very, very close. And so I obviously clearly miss him on many occasions. And over the last few days, his birthday was 1st July. So instead of celebrating the birthday, we decided to celebrate the year. So we have been doing events right now. We've run cycle rallies, blood donation camps, free eye checkup camps and treatments. And in Delhi, we inaugurated a unique Vedic center in his name. And so in our own way, we are trying to do things that we believe he stood for, things that he believed in, things that would benefit society at large, because that's the kind of person he was. I also feel privileged having spent that time, so I try and convert this missing him into an energy to do good things in that memory, and also obviously it feeds my own soul.
Well, that's a great way to channel the energy. But as a second generation entrepreneur, did you ever feel the pressure? Because, you know, there is a lot of expectation that comes from the next generation, especially when you have such big shoes to fill. Was there ever self-doubt on your part? And how did you handle these feelings?
So doubts, failures, experimentation, tripping now and then are a very natural part. And I think we were fortunate that our elders brought us up in a manner to accept failure now and then. So we have actually turned this into a positive energy in our system. And we not only do a lot of experimentation ourselves, we encourage all the teams in all of our companies and our non-profits to be experimental. So one thing we've learned is no one of us has a monopoly on good ideas. So there are two things we do actively. One is encourage people within the companies to constantly experiment, trying new things, knowing fully well when you try so many new things, not everything is going to work. Some of them will blow up in your face. So what we do is in our town halls, we call up people who've done something special, give them the recognition. In the same town hall, we also call up the people who tried but failed, and they get the exact same recognition. Because the recognition is being given for trying. The success or failure is a subsequent thing which you don't know about. When you're starting, you have no idea of the outcome. And the second thing we've done extensively is partner with other institutions and organizations to try and build a win-win. Because we are, as you know, very focused on relationships. I think the question of self-doubt becomes a less important one when you have such a facilitating environment around you. And fortunately, our generation came in at a reasonably early stage in the life of our businesses and helped to grow them certainly beyond where they were at that time. And there is, of course, enough saying that family-owned businesses, by the third generation, 96% of them destroy themselves. So that's what we actually worked against.
Right. So talking of the third generation of the Munjal family is running completely different businesses, very different from what the first generation set out to build. You're into digital education, electronics, electronic devices, green energy, insurance broking. You're also into confectionaries, very, very diverse sort of businesses. Is there anything that sort of ties these unconnected or seemingly unconnected businesses together?
We believe it is only fair that we use this position to its advantage. So we've actually encouraged our children to follow their passion, to follow their heart. Because my own belief is, if you can turn your passion into your profession, it's not like work. You're just having fun, you're enjoying life. So, as you said, we have a chocolatier, she makes the best chocolate in India. We do tell them, whatever your passion is, please go and make the best of it. Don't just do it. So we have in the family, as you know, somebody running a university, and that's already been rated as the most innovative university in India and the highest experiential curriculum in the world. So the idea is what you do matters to society, it matters beyond yourselves. So you also have a responsibility. And these children already have a legacy. So when they go out, it's also genetic in a sense, because you hear about this at the dining table at home, conversations about business, about culture, about what's going on in politics and the like. So in some sense, they have an unfair advantage. But to turn this into a societal benefit is why we chose this. By the way, all of them are not doing different businesses. There are many in the main companies as well. But this is something we also encouraged. Actually, I had the role earlier on to help groom the next generation, to help them with their education. So I did ask each one of them. We actually tested them for their interest. And we said, try and get the best education in the world for that particular area of interest, and then go and pursue it. But I first discouraged all of them from joining the family business, only to test them, how interested they are. And those who said we are interested to join, we said, go out and work elsewhere. Show us that you can work where you're not somebody's nephew or niece or cousin, and demonstrate work ethic. Then come back and start at the bottom.
Right.
If you want to join one of the main companies.
You know, that's a challenge I'm sure many of the family business owners here face as well. You have children who sometimes don't want to carry on with the family business, want to do something of their own, while the parents feel that, you know, we've built something of value here and nobody wants to take it forward. How should they deal with that?
Well, I said 94% of the family-owned business destroy themselves by the third generation, but there is 6% which then go on generation after generation after generation. There is almost a magic formula with those 6%. And this is all research now that's available of what are the attributes that are necessary for continuing after many generations. Family-owned businesses are still the largest employers in the world. They contribute significant amounts to tax collections in the globe. They contribute a large portion to the innovation that is taking place. Now, the one big, and there's a series of things that actually matter. The one big thing that is the key is the ability to understand the distinction between ownership and management. If we understand that our value and wealth lies in our businesses, we will automatically start doing what is best for the business. And if the best for the business is not for me to run it, or my daughter to run it, but somebody else to run it, so be it. In fact, there are many large family-owned businesses globally now who are deploying the best members of the family to manage the family and not the business. Because for the business, it's much easier to find high-quality, trained, experienced professionals. Not so for the family.
Hero Realty, building a legacy in family-owned business in association with CNBC TV18. Hero Realty, building a legacy in family-owned business in association with CNBC TV18.
If you had to pick out, say, the top 3 management strategies that you learned from your father, what are your top 3 that you would like to pass on to the next generation?
If I was put to a test and had to pick a few, I would say the first one was the acceptance and realization that people are the most important asset of the business. They are the only asset which continues to appreciate with time. The second one was building relationships and retaining them for long periods of time. As I said, I just came and spent time with our dealers. We have dealers who are working with us, we have suppliers who are working with us, we have employees who work with us, second generation, third generation, and now even fourth generation. Even though we restructured the group, but the relationships remain the same. And the third one, I think, is to ensure concern for the environment of 2 types. You already mentioned them. One was community and people who live around us. And second was the physical environment of air quality, water quality, noise that you make. There are many others which will get more and more focus in future, I think. And I would add just one more, is to understand and do this with humility. None of us has a monopoly on good ideas. You have no idea where they can come from. And you are also never the only individual responsible for your success. There are so many others who contribute to it. And whether it's workers in a factory, or it's the government system, or it's the tailwind of the economy, or the overall ecosystem is the one which helps you become successful. It's important to recognize that I'm not the only one doing this.
Right. So You know, I also want to briefly touch upon the role of women in family businesses. And despite the fact that, you know, India has always traditionally had a lot of family businesses, the role of women has still been very, very minimal. You know, what's your advice to families that perhaps still are not that open in, you know, putting women at the front? Any steps, any piece of advice you want to leave the audience with?
First, it's not true only for family businesses, by the way. This is a universal problem. And I think we need to both understand it, accept it, and then also fix it. Women are the much smarter half of this planet. First, they are much better at multitasking than men are. Please remember, the women who are managing the home, bringing up children, are doing such an amazing job. It's not one job itself. It's many, many jobs in one. It's like being a general manager of a factory which runs 24/7. And then some. I don't think any of the men even have a clue of all that goes into to making sure this runs successfully. Second, they have the unique ability to bring empathy to any action, to any decision making. They are also, by their very nature, able to bring people together. I think for us as a nation, we stand at the cusp of phenomenal growth today. For us to get full benefit of this growth, one of the things that has to happen is better adoption of technologies. The second, probably more important, is bringing women into the mainstream. More and more women into mainstream. Both, I think, are critical for us right now. And both will allow us not only to get to the leadership position we want, but allow us to retain it for a longer, much longer period of time.
Well, Mr. Munjal, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much, and many, many congratulations on the launch of the book again.
I now would like to invite co-founder of NMA and an entrepreneur who is passionate about counseling family-managed businesses, Mr. Hardik Nayak, to please conduct the question and answer session.
I have gathered certain questions from the audience and couple of simple questions, but it needs deep insight from you. Say, for example, first and foremost question that many Gujaratis would be happy to listen from you, that हम लोग इधर will be बनाना नहीं चाहते, आप family manual की बात करते हैं. How can we do that? Please guide us.
जैसे हम बाकी चीज़ों की बात कर रहे हैं, कल्चर की बात कर रहे हैं, ये एक बहुत ज़रूरी चीज़ है कि हम अपनी mortality को recognize करें. All of us are going to go sometime. Unfortunately, in our culture, it became a negative thing to discuss about somebody passing away, which is a shame because all of us are going to go. So we end up leaving situations which are disruptive, which are not well managed. And this is a transition which is the single most important transition of our lives for the family and for the business. So I have been telling many of my friends, जब वो 30 साल के होते हैं, 60 के नहीं, 30 साल के, if they have a single asset, they should write a will. And we should discuss this in our families. We should have conversations about this in our families. This is a responsibility. ये कोई बुरी चीज़ नहीं है. This is a smart, positive thing that you are teaching people. जैसे हम लोगों को कहते हैं, investment की responsibility आपकी है. How you manage your money is, and Gujarat is famous for managing money. So this is equally important, if not more important. Because what you leave behind, unfortunately, we are too focused on what we leave behind. Therefore, we end up not doing enough philanthropy while we are alive. We don't focus enough on society. Again, I shouldn't say we don't, because many of you do. But as a society, I think in India, we are still way behind. If you see what this culture is in North America of giving, we are way behind. And part of it is this reason.
Sir, can you please also elaborate more on, क्योंकि यहाँ जो business houses है, right from Bharuch to Vapi, we have lots of SMEs and FMBs. Most of the businesses are built by first generation, so there is an emotional attachment by default. So या तो वो छोड़ना नहीं चाहते, या तो उनको पता नहीं कैसे धंधा छोड़ा जा सकता है. How to do a succession planning, if you can elaborate on that.
सो आजकल ना जो बिजनेस स्कूल्स में हैं सारी दुनिया भर में, यहाँ पर भी, उनके अंदर ये आजकल एजुकेशन प्रोग्राम है ऑन फैमिली ओन्ड बिजनेसेस, एंड दिस इज वन ऑफ द थिंग्स इट टीचेस यू. I would say organizations like Navsari Management Association, Surat Management Associations, you should take on this responsibility. Run programs on it. Call experts and expose your members to it. Because it is as important as a successful business. Because if you don't let go beyond a point, you're harming the business. Which means you're harming yourself. Because it is you. The business is an extension of yourself. So it's not a smart thing to do, but we still end up doing it because we have not been exposed to what the better possibility is. It's not a bad thing. It's just because that is the only thing that person understands, and so she or he is doing what they think is best. So if they are able to see beyond their nose, if they are able to understand उनका अपना फ़ायदा क्या है इसके अंदर, लेकिन किसी को समझाने की ज़रूरत है. More importantly, खुद को समझने की ज़रूरत है.
Last questions that since it is your visit to Surat on official launch, what are the 3 pieces of advice that you would want to share with our Gujarati business families?
We need to look at society in a slightly more holistic manner. The culture of giving to those less fortunate than us needs to increase and spread a little bit more. The second part, because you have your children all over the world, Gujaratis have been traveling globally for a very long time. Use that as the true brain bank. Bring back ideas, bring back knowledge, bring back resources into this amazing, magical thing that is happening today in India. The development taking place in India is almost like never before. We are like an island today. We are a country where you can see clear 25 to 30 years of growth in front of us. How do you make the best of that? Will be with responsible investment, with constant adoption of new technologies, and thinking long term. Because too often when you think short term, your decision is different from what it could be if you're thinking long term.
So thank you very much, sir, for the time and guidance to the audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hero Realty, building a legacy in family-owned business in association with CNBC TV18.